Welcome to Lisbon. This is the second oldest capital city in Europe, and you can really feel that history everywhere, from the tiled walls to these famous cobbled streets. Today, I'm starting a walking tour to see the best of what this city has to offer. This is part one of a little series I'm making as I explore Lisbon for the very first time. Right now, I'm standing in Praça do Comércio. It's the main square and it sits right on the edge of the Tagus River. For today's video, we're staying by the water to check out the big maritime landmarks. We'll see the monument to the discoveries, Jerónimos Monastery, the Belém Tower, and more. In the next few videos, we'll head into the historic heart of the city, Praça, to see the Santa Justa lift and the old castle. But for my first day, we're starting here by the river. In front of us is the Rua Augusta Arch. It serves as the main entrance into the city today, and historically, this is where travelers would disembark from the port to walk into the city center. Right in the center of the square is this impressive equestrian statue of King Jose I. It's actually a huge deal in Portuguese history because it was the very first equestrian statue made in Portugal. It was also the first public statue in the entire country dedicated to a person who was still alive at the time. The statue, including its pedestal, stands about 40 meters high. That's nearly 46 feet. Looking around this massive space, it's hard to believe that back in the 1980s, this square was actually used as a parking lot. Today, it's completely pedestrianized, which makes it such a great spot to just wander. It's one of the largest squares in Portugal. It's roughly 175 by 175 meters, creating this huge, open gateway to the city. You know, looking at this, I honestly thought I was standing right in front of the ocean or some kind of sea inlet. It's so wide and calm, and it even has these little waves that make it look like a coastline. But I actually learned that this is the Tagus River, or the Tijo as they call it here. It's huge, which is why it's so easy to mistake it for the sea. It actually flows right past the city and meets the Atlantic Ocean just a few miles further down the coast. It's this mix of river and sea air that gives Lisbon such a unique feel. But don't worry, we'll be back later in the afternoon when the energy completely changes. We'll head through that gate and take a leisurely walk once the streets are bustling with people. That will probably be in the next video, though. For now, let's turn around and head toward the water.
Ali, 3.182 aí. Amazonas, amigão.
Next up is Jerónimos Monastery. To get there, I'm hopping on the 15E tram right here at Praça do Comércio. You want the one heading toward Algés. It's about a 30-minute ride, which is much better than the hour and 20-minute walk if you're trying to save your energy for exploring. You can buy a single journey for €3.30, right on board the tram from this automatic ticket machines. But it's more expensive. I went with the 24-hour day pass for €7.25. You can grab it at any metro station or certain kiosks. It gives you unlimited rides on all Caris buses and trams, plus the metro, for a full 24 hours from the first time you tap it. It's definitely the way to go if you're planning to zip around the city all day.
Avenida França.
can definitely take that 15E tram all the way to the Jerónimos Monastery, but just for the sake of variety, I'm going to finish the trip on a bus. There are several that head that way, like the 714 or the 728, and since I have my day pass, I can just hop on and off whenever I want. We're standing in front of the Jerónimos Monastery. This huge complex is the monastery, but this part is dedicated to Santa Maria de Belém. Historically, there was actually a smaller church here dedicated to her, where sailors would pray before their voyages. Looking at the main facade right now, it's a bit of a construction site. They say the building of this monastery and church began on January 6, 1501, and was completed 100 years later. I'm starting to wonder if it's ever actually finished. Even with the renovation work, you can still see why this is one of the most famous examples of the Portuguese Manuline style. It's this very late, ornate Gothic architecture that's unique to Lisbon. Just look at the entrance here. The level of detail in the stone carvings is just unreal. I'm actually not 100% sure if it is open to the public today, but either way, the queues during peak times can get absolutely crazy. We're on a bit of a roll with our walk, so we aren't going to head inside today. Turning away from the monastery, we have Empire Square Garden. If we walk through there, it leads straight to the monument to the discoveries. It looks like a beautiful walk, so let's head that way and go check it out. This garden is actually one of the largest squares in Europe. It's laid out in a very formal, symmetrical way, with these large rectangular lawns and a massive central fountain that looks amazing when it's fully running. Around the edges, you'll see different statues and coats of arms. It's a really grand, open space that acts like a bridge between the monastery and the river. If you're planning a trip here, you definitely won't miss any of these sites because they're all so close together. Honestly, it's a perfect walking tour. We just left the monastery, and in just a few minutes, we're already at the monument to the discoveries. Even the Belém Tower is just a short, scenic walk further down from here. We're taking this pedestrian underpass. Connects the Empire Square Garden directly to the riverfront, so you don't have to worry about the traffic or the train lines. Let's head through and get a closer look at that monument. Here we are. the monument to the discoveries, or Padrão dos Descobrimentos. According to what I've read, this actually started as a temporary structure for the Portuguese World Exhibition in 1940. It was later rebuilt in concrete and stone to become the permanent fixture we see today. The design is pretty striking. On the entrance side, you see a giant sword decorating the main slab. As for the figures, it is said there are 33 historical figures in total. To my knowledge, Prince Henry is the one right at the front, looking out over the river. On either side of the monument, lined up along the ramps, are 16 figures each, explorers, cartographers, and even poets. It's like a frozen timeline of the Age of Discovery, carved right into the stone. It's a massive reminder of the discoveries led by Henry, the navigator. Its location is really symbolic, too, standing right here on the northern bank of the Tagus, where ships used to depart to explore and trade during the 15th and 16th centuries. It's shaped like the prow of a caravel, the specific type of ship used in early Portuguese exploration. It stands about 52 meters high, that's roughly 170 feet. Looking out toward the river, you get this great view of the Pont 25 de Abril. It probably looks familiar because it's often compared to the Golden Gate Bridge in San Francisco. Actually, it was built by the American Bridge Company. We're going to be riding across it in the next few videos as we head further south to explore the coast, so definitely stay tuned for that. Just a few steps away from the monument, you see these two interesting black iron sculptures. According to local history, these are actually armillary spheres. They were essential navigation tools used by Portuguese sailors to calculate their position using the stars during the Age of Discovery. They look like skeletal globes with all these interlocking rings, and they are so significant to Portugal's identity that you'll actually see this same symbol on the Portuguese national flag. You can actually take an elevator to the top for a panoramic view of the Belém district. Tickets are usually around €10, but just like the monastery, we're going to stay outside today. There's plenty to see right here on the ground. Next up is the Belém Tower. It's just a 12-minute walk from the monument. The promenade along the river is so pleasant. It's wide, flat, and you get that constant breeze off the Tagus. I love just watching the small boats and yachts sail in and out along the shore as I walk. There are plenty of drink and street food kiosks along the way if you need a quick coffee or a snack. It's definitely one of the most relaxing parts of the city to just wander through. Just before we reach the tower, we're passing the Bom Sucesso Marina. This is a really charming dock area where you'll see all these private yachts and sailboats parked up. If you want to see Lisbon from a different perspective, this is a great spot to start a boat tour or a sunset cruise along the Tagus. There are several companies based right here that offer everything from private rentals to group sightseeing trips. It's a busy little hub, and there's something so peaceful about the sound of the masts clinking in the wind while you walk by. I'm walking through the Belém Tower garden now, and as you can see, the tower is just on the other side of this greenery. Even though it's only late March, early April, the garden is already bustling with people. It's such a great spot for tourists to just grab a seat and have a rest after they've finished exploring the tower. There's a really nice energy here. People are just soaking up the sun and enjoying the view. Here it is, the Belém Tower, or Torre de Belém. It honestly looks like something straight out of a fairy tale, and it's definitely one of my favorite spots in the city so far. According to historical records, it was built in the early 16th century as a fortified gateway to Lisbon and a point of defense for the Tagus. Architecturally, it's a stunning example of the Portuguese Manuline style, but it also incorporates other influences. To my knowledge, those cylindrical watchtowers with ribbed domes are inspired by Moorish architecture, giving it that unique, exotic look. The tide is quite low right now, but I wouldn't mind coming back another time to see it at high tide, when it's completely surrounded by water. It is said that the tower was originally constructed on a small rocky island near the bank. But as the city developed and the shoreline was extended over centuries, the northern bank slowly crept southwards. Over time, the tower became integrated right into the riverbank where it stands today. Just a little further west of the tower is Bom Sucesso Fortress. It's an 18th century fort that was originally built to defend Lisbon's port from naval attacks. Today it actually houses the Museu do Combatente, or the Combatants Museum dedicated to Portuguese military history, especially from World War I through the colonial wars in Africa. I'm here at the gate now, and according to the official info, tickets are very reasonable, around €5 for adults. It's open daily from 10 o'clock a.m. to 6 o'clock p.m. As usual, we aren't going to head inside today, but it's definitely a spot I'd like to explore another time to see the artillery and aircraft on display in the outdoor sections. I'm not entirely sure if there's anything specific to see up ahead, but I was hoping to get a cool view of the fortress from a distance. It's a really lovely, quiet walk along the river, but honestly, there isn't much else out here. I've made it as far as the Doca de Pesca, the fishing docks, and it looks like this is the end of the line. We can't go any further this way. And as it turns out, we couldn't even get that view of the fortress I was looking for. I decided to take the bus back to the center. It's a great way to see different parts of the neighborhood as we head back toward the heart of the city. That's going to be it for today's walk. I'm ending the video here, but make sure to catch the next one. We'll be heading to the famous Santa Justa lift to find a ruined Gothic church that was left standing after the Great Earthquake. Plus, we'll take a proper walk through the streets of Belém, Lisbon's historic center. See you in the next video.